Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Tested 1 2 3. Um, I'm going to make two videos. One of the videos is going to be about the subject of myself. Um, I'm 42 years old, and I've battled with weight since the year dot. I have lost a lot of the weight. I've lost a whole person, but on the path to losing the weight, and during my times of carrying weight and being rejected, I look back on my life and look at myself now and realize how much it has damaged me as a person. Um, when I used to go and I was on a went for a little evening with a friend and his boyfriend, and I remember something about myself when I was actually very fat. I was almost 30 stones. I don't know what that is in pounds. Back in those really fat days, I had more blind dates than I do now. I think the last time I went on a date was around 3 to 4 years ago, and I haven't been on a blind date ever since. Um, Something happened to me. I will go on blind dates. I give you a kind of like a what I can remember of my blind dates. I usually came across guys who would have. We always know that people, when you do personal ads, people who don't actually read what you put down. I have to tell you this: be you gay, straight, lesbian, or bisexual, when you put ads on sites, a majority of people, actually don't read what you put down. And it amazes me that now people don't actually listen to all that you put down. When I was really fat, I used to say I was slightly chubby. I was 26 stones, I was slightly chubby. I was not slightly chubby, I was really obese. But that's how I protected myself, then I wouldn't have to deal with it. I always just say, oh, he's fatter than me, then have to deal with it. But going back to myself about really the reason why I'm making this video vlog. Um, I will go on dates. I'll have experiences where I go to guys' houses, and they would be more interested in television than me. I'll be sitting in their house, and they'll just be watching television. It's like I might as well not be there. Then you come across the ones where I will say, I am fat, I'm carrying this weight, and it's like I'm speaking Chinese to them. And then they will say to me, they'll look at me, they'll look away, they'll look at me, they'll look away and say, you need to go to the gym, to work out and lose that weight and da, da, da. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. I told you, I have an angry thing about myself. I can be very, very placid. And sometimes it's a shock that people will be so insensitive and cruel to people because of their weight. Hey, unfortunately, that is the case. Then I'll get ones who were looking for sex, not looking for a relationship, but they will lie. They say looking for a relationship when they're looking for sex. And I'm sorry to say, ladies, women, you're right about men. We can be absolute dogs, just users. Then you get ones who are time wasters, who allow you to go all the way from your house to their house to be rude. One Nigerian guy said, oh, I only answered the ad because I was bored. I'm really not into black guys. I've been meant to be fat white men. And I thought to myself, why did you... That kind of mentality. So all that emotional beatings I received from black gay men has, when I was around 29, I was at this bar called Kudos, and I saw guys who are very muscular, bulging basket, big round bubble butts, muscular, handsome, and they're walking to the bars. Not one person will chat them up, and they will leave the bar club by themselves. They'll walk around the saunas with their towels on. Still nobody will chat them up. And that made me realize, no matter what you look like, you're not going to be anybody's type. But what resulted in that, I mean, there's lots of things, like, for instance, of my 20s, like 21, 22, when guys say they'll call me back and never did call me back, and that's before I had a mobile phone, that's before I had an answer machine. and I would stay at home all day, hoping for them to call me when they said they'll call me. They never did. Guys being nasty, being unpleasant. So the result of that experience of abuse from black gay men resulted in me taking the desire from myself, wanting a boyfriend. Because when I first when I first ever did a personal column, I think it was on the phone. I was 21, and I was under delusion, daily delusion, that I would do this for 6 months and I'd find my first boyfriend. I'm now 42, and I still have not got a boyfriend. The main reason now is I've taken this desire within my spirit to have a relationship, have a boyfriend. I went to the graveyard, and I buried it. And what happens now? You could look like Gary Dordant. You could look like Troy Palamumamuma, whatever his name is. You could be the most gorgeous guy on this earth. Something within me puts this barrier out. And it says, stay away from me, I'm not interested. And I think that's a protective mechanism to protect myself from being hurt. But I just don't know what it is. I mean, even it's sex. I mean, there was this guy on Adam for Adam, he calls himself Hot Latin Stallion. He ain't the greatest looking person in the world, but a couple of years ago, if he had actually said to me, I want to have sex with him, because I had shagged his friend, his fellow Brazilian friend, so he obviously told him about me, and suddenly he wants me to have sex with him. Many years ago, I would have just zoomed to his house. But I didn't. I just talked to him and whatever, and he got bored of it and just basically moved on. So what I found now is that I'm more interested in making friends with people. If you see him to see me on Facebook and say, let's go out for a drink, or let's go through a movie, or come over for a dinner, and there's nothing sexual, you're not interested in me as a boyfriend or sexual conquest? Like, that, I'll be at your house, that. But in regards to anything romantic or sexual, not interested. I'm a very horny gay man. So if it is in a sauna, I don't mind. Outside the sauna, I will not pay attention to you. I will not respond to your message. I'll just engage in your conversation until you get to the point where you're bored. You say, this guy's not interested, and leave me be. I always say to my friend, oh, you know what? I'm going to be one of those gay men that live and die alone. I have no fear of being by myself, but I don't know if the desire to want to have a boyfriend will ever become unearthed. I'm very particular. I'm not into bisexuals. I prefer my men to be exclusively gay, black, or black mixed men. I don't mind some Latins or Asian men who are Pakistani, Sri Lankan, or whatever. But I prefer them to be exclusively gay. I don't date bisexuals. Because I come across these guys who say they're gay. Well, on all occasion, they'll sleep with women. To me, you're bisexual. Bisexuality is not that the equal attraction to both sexes, the fact that you are. Be you largely attracted to women, be you largely attracted to men, but the fact that you can have sex with both, you're bisexual, no matter what the equation. It's not about the equation, it's about the fact that you can do both. So I want my men to be exclusively gay. And the fact of the matter is, I will be shocked if I leave this earth having a boyfriend. I believe I'll be one of those gay men that, unless I still remain in England, I don't think I'll ever move to South Africa like I always wanted to, that will be on my floor, not unless my nephew or my great nieces regularly visit me. I'll be one of those gay men who is 92 and dies in his sleep, and he's been dead for the last week or month, and as a result of that, my nephews and nieces knock on the door, bang the door down, and find me dead on the floor. I know that sounds morbid, but I have to be realistic. I don't see myself in a relationship. I have tried. I know many, many friends who are not into white guys, but they will date a white man because they fear being by themselves. I don't fear being by myself. My fear is my concern, not a fear. My concern is that the desire to want to have a boyfriend will not become on earth. It will remain buried within that metaphoric soil. So, I'm interested in your feedback. Get back to me.